I'm Timmy McNamee with Powerboating Magazine. We just popped over to the Hux Marine booth and stepped on this beautiful Tiara Yacht. Now, don't ask me because I've never been on one because I get seasick and motion sick really easily. But there's a new product on the market called Seakeeper. We're going to talk to Duncan Finlayson, Ontario Territory Rep and West Coast Rep, about what this product is and how he can get me out on a yacht. Duncan, tell us a little bit about this product. How does it stabilize a boat?
So it's a gyro, and it uses a gyroscopic principle of gyroscopic torque transmitted through the hull at port to starboard to eliminate roll. It anticipates the roll, and then it eliminates it. So the vessel will still travel up and down on the swell, but it won't roll back and forth.
Wow, okay, and it's mounted like in the back, in the front, like whereabouts is it in this boat?
This one is right underneath this hatch, so midship back is where it needs to be mounted. It can be mounted off center.
Okay.
So it doesn't need to be center line mounted, but it needs to be mounted midship back.
Okay. So if this is in a vessel and the waves come in and they start rocking the boat, does it take a minute for it to kind of
No, not at all. It's immediate.
Starts?
Yeah, it'll reduce the roll by up to 90%.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
It's an amazing
so you
product.
Could literally,
revolutionary.
Like, I'm a light sleeper too. I could be sleeping. I probably wouldn't even wake up.
There you go. That's right. Yeah.
Is it a one size fits all?
No, there's different models. So we can do down to a 23-foot hull and up over 85 feet. We can install multiple units inside the same boat.
Okay.
So if there's a space limitation, instead of putting one bigger unit in, we can put two smaller units in, and it performs the same function.
Two smaller units, or you do have a bigger unit option for the larger boats
as
well?
Sure, yeah.
Really?
But there's flexibility for refit. So from a new installation perspective, it's very easy because it's engineered into the design.
Okay.
But from a refit perspective, you need to find space within the hull, and then you need to mount it. So sometimes space is at a premium, right?
Okay.
So if you don't have room for a bigger unit, sometimes you have room for two smaller units. So that's a possibility.
Wow.
It's an option for an owner.
So when you mount it in a boat, the boat doesn't have to come with it. You can get it as an option thereafter as well.
Correct. Yeah, yeah. You can do a refit on it. We do that through our dealer network.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then when you mount it, does it mount to like the overall structure, or what does it fix to?
Yeah, it needs. There's a process to mount it into the structure, but it has to be mounted either into fiberglass or aluminum or steel. It can be mounted, various ways, but it needs to be secured so that it doesn't rip the boat apart.
Wow.
Right.
Yep. Okay, so we're in this Tiara. I want to see where exactly this is mounted because I'm interested to see what's going on down there. So can you show us?
Sure.
Okay.
So it's underneath this hatch. And this one is mounted just forward of the ladder.
Okay.
So for this size vessel, that's a Model 6, a Seakeeper 6. And that's roll stabilize this 43-foot long hull.
Wow. And it doesn't really take up that much space.
No, and this is the nice thing about whenever it's new, is that you can engineer it into a space. So the refit, and this is where you run into issues with refit sometimes, where you need to hunt through your boat and decide where you can give up space perhaps in order to mount one. There's not always a footprint, right? Yeah. So there's actually over 300 builders that are registered with Seakeeper to offer it as an option. So Tiara is an option, this particular boat, Boston Whaler, Viking. There's all kinds of manufacturers that offer Seakeeper as an option as a line item. So typically in those boats, whenever they're new, they have a footprint in the mold of the fiberglass, right? Schaefer
does, yes. Okay.
Of course, yeah. Awesome. So if your boat happened to have Seakeeper as an option from new, then the refit process can be a lot easier because there's already a space for it.
Got you.
Right? And you just need to go and install it.
And I guess with this product coming out, every manufacturer is going to start considering that.
Of course, and it's very customer driven because of nausea and seasickness, right?
Right.
Anybody that wants to go out sport fishing maybe, but they're nervous about getting seasick, right? If you were a sport fishing guy, commercially, if you had a Seakeeper in your boat, you would wave the Seakeeper flag and say, you're not going to get sick when you're on my boat. Right.
And I guess authority vessels as well would be handy too.
Yeah, and commercially, like with police, search and rescue, any of those kinds of guys, it's a health and safety thing too, because if you're leaning over the rail, it stabilizes the platform and makes it safer.
Yep.
If you're stepping vessel to vessel, as cops might do, then that becomes safer. Right?
Wow.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so we've talked about when the boat is still, but does this kind of thing work while the boat is running on plane? Is it up to a certain mile per hour, or is there an option for that?
Right, so it's always working, it's always functional. Even when you are up on plane, it's
Okay.
not as effective because the vessel is naturally more stable whenever it's up on plane.
Right.
But Seakeeper has a new product called Seakeeper Ride that you can see on the website, and it's a set of trim tabs that go on the stern. And the tabs are below the waterline, and they affect similar to a standard set of tabs,
Okay.
Humphreys or Interceptors. But the biggest thing with the Ride tabs is that they prevent the slamming into the waves, the pitch.
Okay.
And it keeps the bow driven into the waves to reduce that slamming that you get whenever you're in heavy surf. And it's super effective. The tabs are fast reacting, and that's the magic behind them. That's what makes them able to keep the bow driven into each wave as it goes. And that's the biggest difference between a standard set of tabs versus what Seakeeper Ride offers.
So, no more seasickness, a smoother, safer overall ride. Check out Seakeeper for your boat or potential yacht in the future.
Be sure to subscribe to Power Boating for more great content.